We have ourselves a horse race, everybody. That's right. Bernie Sanders in a Wisconsin straw poll. And this is really kind of interesting, as well as when you think about the different implications that this straw poll will actually mean. It's really interesting when you look at it. Bernie Sanders has narrowed the gap between him and Hillary Clinton by about 8 points. Very interesting stuff. So, during the Wisconsin straw poll recently, Bernie Sanders scored 41% among the Wisconsin Democratic Party convention over the weekend. Now, he finished second to Hillary Clinton, who won by about 49%. Now, this is really interesting. According to an article in the AP, the Vermont senator received 208 of 511 delegate votes at the state convention in Milwaukee on Saturday. Clinton won 252, just leaving her short of a majority. And of course, Biden and Martin O'Malley had pretty low, around 2 to 3%. Jim Webb, 2%, and Lincoln Chafee, whose big claim to fame is trying to get the metric system in America, got about 1%. So this is interesting. Now, my question to you, Ron, knowing the media the way that you do, you've done numerous media critiques. Is this the time where the media really starts paying more attention? As soon as we have a horse race competition, is that when the media starts to really kind of say, "Oh, that Bernie Sanders guy, we discounted him before, but now this is going to get interesting."
I could see it going one of two ways, and this is just like my prediction based on past behavior. I think it's either going to be they're going to continue to attempt to trivialize him, but they're not going to completely. They're just going to kind of marginalize it. They're going to kind of try to do an analysis between those numbers, and the analysis is going to be based on just generalizations and just kind of low-hanging fruit, like saying like, oh well, Wisconsin, they got all these liberal pockets like Eau Claire and Madison, and those are just those crazy old hippies coming out. Once it gets more general, he doesn't have a chance. Derper derper der, status quo. Or it's gonna just be like a straight up, okay, this guy does have a shot. He's a contender. Let's start the smear campaign, because at this point the media is not going to smile on Barry Sanders in a positive light for the reason that they wrote him off initially. They don't want to have egg on their face. And because, not to sound like real conspiratorial here or whatever, but it's no big secret that the media likes upholding the status quo. They like their corporate politicians that are going to play the game, that are going to write some big checks for them. Bernie Sanders ain't going to do that. We know that. So,
Sure.
Yeah, he's not their favorite.
But the media also likes one thing, and that's horse race politics, and that's exactly what this is.
True.
And
True.
that's why I think you're going to see a lot of reporting on this, as far as mainstream corporate media goes. Like, oh, look at the horse race. We know, and there's still going to be, I think, some dismissal of Bernie Sanders. He's still a long shot, but look at him gaining some ground to Hillary Clinton, who is the front runner, and they're gonna point that out a lot. Hillary's the front runner. She's probably going to win the nomination. But look at Bernie Sanders, really close, polling 41% in crazy Wisconsin, which, by the way, is the same Wisconsin that voted for Scott Walker.
True. Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, they're definitely going to cover it a good bit, but yeah, I think you're right. It's like they're going to kind of highlight the Sanders campaign, where it's just like, oh, it's like the like the little brother that doesn't do anything really all that good in terms of the big brother. Look at that, he did it himself. He made that painting. Like that's how they're gonna frame this, and we'll just see what happens. It seems like the people have been seeing through a lot of the fluff and are really treating him as the contender. And even me, like I kind of thought, I was just like, well, it's good that he's out there with his ideas, but the Clinton dynasty, I don't know. But the people have really spoke up, and he is a contender, and I think it's awesome. And even if he doesn't get it, I think it's amazing that instead of the big people in front of the herd just being the people where you can see the biggest money trail, instead you see kind of two polar opposites in some ways. You see like the ultimate corporate Democrat that plays the game in a Hillary Clinton, And then you really see the outsider that's not interested in the game, that knows the status quo is a problem, that knows that we need a radical shift in this country. The fact that those are the two that are up front instead of just the two corporates up front, that's saying something. And that's saying that even if the big change isn't going to be in 2016, it's coming. It gives you reason to be really optimistic, I think. And so this is good news.
Yeah, speaking of that optimism, Sanders is out there exciting people, and he's been consistently drawing in large crowds in Iowa and New Hampshire, and in Wisconsin. Bernie Sanders wasn't even in Wisconsin during this, and he still got 41%. He's polling at 41% among the Democrats in Wisconsin. So people are very excited, and I like. There's some things that I like about his campaign, and it's that he hasn't been BSing anybody. He's been going on and he's saying, look, I'm not going to talk bad about Hillary Clinton. People don't like those negative campaigns. They work, but it doesn't mean people like them, right? So he's going out there and saying, look, I'm not going to attack Hillary Clinton. We're going to talk about the issues. Income inequality, here's what I'm going to do. College debt, here's what I'm going to do.
Right. And I do like that approach too, but to kind of just maybe be a little bit of a devil's advocate, I think that he is going to have to play the game some. And yeah, the time's not now, but he is going to have to start playing the game. And I hope he has the resources to do that. He's going to need to show up in these states. He's going to need to have his offices. He's going to need to hit the campaign trail hard. Because, whether you like the game or not, that's how it's played. He's gonna. He can have his own thing. He can try to, go about it a different way because the people have responded. They're saying they like it. My cat likes it. She's real excited about that, jumping in my lap here, and that's awesome. Like that does really, I think, inspire a lot of folks, myself included. But you still got to play the fiddle to some degree to just sort of reach the masses, I guess.
Well, Sanders, from what I've read a few articles on it. He's really been playing the web game, the social media game, very, very, very well. He has a very large presence on different social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, really putting out a lot of social media everywhere.
Yeah,
to kind of get out to the younger vote.
And that's great, but it's still not a complete substitute. Even in this day and age, even in 2015, that's still not it. He's got to kiss the babies, Jeff, is what I'm saying.
I think it might be discounting the role of the web, though. Look at the impact it had in 2012.
It's huge, don't get me wrong. No, it's huge, don't get me wrong. And the big reason Obama did what he did was because, from the grassroots, new media level, it was historic, right? I'm not trying to discount that at all. Okay. But I'm saying... the whole traditional campaign trail game, the way Hunter Thompson wrote about it, that's still alive and well. That's not completely extinguished. So he does have to he has to have the offices everywhere so that he can participate in all the debates. He has to be showing up in these states. He has to be doing the stumps, doing the meet and greets. That's still there and that's still important. So yeah, he does still have to play the game to a degree if he wants to be a true contender. Because just having the grassroots online, but that's huge and it's essential, but it's not quite enough on its own.
So do you think he's not doing enough of those things?
It's too early.
Any evidence?
No, it's too early to tell.
Okay.
It's too early on to tell. I'm just kind of forecasting. I hope that, because we're saying how he's such an anomaly, he's so different, he's kind of dismissing the traditional way of doing things, and I think that's great, but, he's going to have to compromise to some degree to win. But I think he's been in politics long enough. He knows that. This isn't news to him.
He's ran lots of campaigns in Vermont.
Certainly.
So
yeah.
He knows how to do it. He knows how to run a campaign, and he knows how to run a grassroots campaign.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. And it is too early for us to make a statement like, oh, he's not doing that, and it's too early on to say anything like that. Obviously, so far he's been doing some things that are pretty good because he's made huge strides just since last month. So,
I believe last month he was polling around 16%, and now in Wisconsin, 41%. That's a significant jump, and we'll have to. What we should do, we should really get some national polling figures now on everyone else. on the entire Democratic field,
Mm-hmm.
and really kind of compare it as to how it's been just last month to what it is
Well,
now. I'd be
I
interested
really
to
do
see.
think I really do think it's just going to be him and Hillary front and center. I really do think that's the way, and I'm glad that that's the case. Because you're going to have them front and center, and then you're going to have the circus known as the GOP, where they're just going to be. I mean, it's almost like just a herd of squirrels battling for a corporate acorn. So we'll see. That'll be cool too, because then it's like at least the Democrats are a little more focused, which
Right.
isn't always the case. So
So you're gonna have over on the GOP side, you've got a bunch of nuts fighting over a nut
exactly, exactly.
from probably Sheldon Adelson.